Love that. Nice.
That's
Thanks everyone for jumping on another episode of Open Shutter. This is the last show of March, which is pretty crazy. Friday's April Fool's Day, so just keep that in mind for Friday. And thanks everyone for jumping on. We have special guest Kate on with us, local Toronto model, who's been kind enough to share her time to discuss her experiences with being a model, the fashion industry, meetup culture, and things like that. So it's going to be a pretty candid conversation. And thanks again for Kate for taking the time. If this is your first time watching us, if you're coming from Kate's side, Evans and I have a YouTube. We have our own YouTube channels. I do my own thing, vlogs, documentaries, co-host this photography show. So if you're into that kind of stuff, make sure to check it out and like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And should be good. So I'll get over to Mr. Evans for a quick, who are you and what do you do?
awesome. Welcome, guys. Welcome to another episode of Open Shutter this Wednesday. My name is Evans, based in Brampton, Ontario. I'm a photographer and a videographer. I do weddings and events, mostly, and portraits. You can check out my YouTube channel where I do tutorials on photo shoots and mainly also on video production stuff. So live streams, video production equipments, how to set up your equipments, how to use them properly. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, you can check out my channel as well. So it's nice to have Kate here. We've all been photographers, but it's nice to hear from the model's perspective as well.
It's nice to have Kate. Well, we were just saying last week, it's nice. I mean, we were saying that, it's nice to have Kate on because otherwise it'd just me and you, Evans, talking, and no one wants that.
Yep.
So, thanks to Kate for passing up the show because, people are tired of me and Evans just talking. So I'll give it.
You needed a little spice.
For a little kind of like a little intro.
Yeah. So I'm Kate Rocks, or Kate Rocks After Dark on Instagram. I have been modeling on and off. Honestly, my whole life. I have always loved being in photos and taking photos and just being a part of that kind of art. But I officially started when I was 18, so I think that was like 2006. Don't quote me. I am old now. But it was really a hobby kind of thing and for fun. So, it would take large hiatuses through college and jobs and stuff. But back a couple of years ago, I started officially I realized I could get paid gigs, and I was like, wow, I've been doing it for free. That's silly.
Yeah.
And I went full-fledged into it since the summer of 2020.
Right.
Well, I was on Instagram by 2019. I realized I had to get with it. But I went full-fledged in 2020, and I've been trying to be serious ever since.
Yeah, no. So you started you kind of started like during COVID, or you made your way during COVID.
And I made a very weird transition. Like, I decided when everything was shut down and no one was shooting, that's when I wanted to start my career.
Yeah.
Officially. I made myself a hard battle.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, there may be people in the chat now, or there may be people in the future in the audience. If you guys have questions about the modeling industry, if you guys are looking to get into the modeling industry, feel free to send your questions in, or feel free to message us after the show if you guys have any questions. But I know that you wanted to start with just like your modeling experience and kind of like your experience so far, maybe tips, tricks, and advice for people that are in the industry, or they want to get into the industry. Did we lose your audio?
Yeah, I think we lost our audio.
Yeah, we lost our audio. Kate, maybe.
But she's not on mute though.
No.
One of those StreamYard stuff.
Is there a StreamYard thing?
Probably. Kate, I think if you can hear us, I think it'll be good to drop out and come back in.
Log out and log back in. It's a StreamYard thing. It's always. Yeah, 2 seconds. So just me and you Evans talking. Look at that. That's karma, man. That's karma, man.
Oh yeah. And
weird.
come figure is end of March, beginning of April.
Hey, what did I say at the start? April Fools? Come on.
No, really. No. It's like second anniversary.
Well, it's coming up. I think it's
Coming
like
up.
April. It's April 28th. I don't know. We gotta check the date.
I don't know. I think it's the
Somewhere
second
there.
week of April or something.
You might not be here for that anyway.
Yeah, I'll be here.
You'll be here. You'll be here. Okay,
Yeah.
man. Hey, if you're gonna jump on, man, full credit to you.
Nah,
You're gonna jump on, full credit. So, guys, if you have questions for Kate, this is a great time to send them in.
Yep, you can send in your questions about the modeling industry.
Yeah.
And I guess whilst we're waiting for Kate,
Yeah.
I just want to share some experiences, horrible ones, maybe,
Okay, share something.
that I've had with some models in the past.
Okay.
And some of the things that I hate
Right.
or I look out for when I'm doing shoots with models, especially if it's not a paid shoot, right?
Right.
If I'm doing a model shoot and the model is not paying me, there's certain things that I hate to see, or what I look out for, because sometimes it can be a challenge working with models, especially if you're getting started. So one of the things I always tell beginner photographers who are trying to work with models is that because the fact that it's not a paid shoot or the fact that it's a TFP shoot does not mean you shouldn't have a contract in place, right? You should always
Hello, I'm
have.
back.
Oh, yeah.
We can hear you now, Kate, so you can go on.
Yay. Awesome. I have no idea what happened there.
That was weird. That's a streamer thing. It's weird.
My first time. Like I said, I had gotten on Instagram back in 2019, 2020-ish. And through the modeling people I knew at the time, they were really into these meetup scenes. Like this was because it was COVID, I guess this was like the way to get photos done. I had worked on Model Mayhem pretty much on and off my whole modeling career. So that's how I found photographers, but I was like, oh, this is like networking. That sounds like a great idea. So I had started going in when I got on Instagram. That's how I was like, well, this is how I'm going to meet people. And, you know, you start following people and you're like, okay, they're all doing these things. So I decided to jump in and test out some meetups. And I would definitely advise against that. We'll get into that soon. But things that I have experienced as a model over the last couple of years is definitely, you know, I'm a plus size model. And photographers are not exactly enthusiastic on wanting to shoot my body type. And I'm not sure why, because there are some wonderful plus size models out there. But I'm actually finding a lack of diversity across the board in a lot of ways. I would be looking through Instagram at a photographer's their portfolio, and I'm just seeing the same 5 models, and I'm like, okay, well, that's great. Are they going to want to work with me? Can they even shoot me properly? Because I've also worked with photographers that have no experience shooting a plus size model, and they just want to shoot me the way they shoot everything else, and that's no good to me. I can't use that stuff. I don't want that stuff to be seen. So I run into a lot of that, but my favorite is, like, I'll reach out to a photographer and be like, hey, I love your work. Love to work together. And I mean, they need the diversity on their portfolio. And they're like, yeah, here's my rate, like $100 to work. And then you can get naked for me. And I was like,
so they just say like that up front, like just get naked? Like it's such a bizarre
we'll be talking about, like, they very specifically only shoot boudoir or like nude stuff. And I'll approach them to be like, you know, I would be interested in working with you. And I haven't, you know, talked about my rates either as a model. And they're just immediately like, okay, well, it's $100 for the shoot. And I'm like, in my head, I'm just like, okay, well, my rates will cancel that out real quick when we're back to the collaborative thing that we were starting to talk about. Like, nobody ever wants to collaborate with me. They want to try and charge me. And it's like, well, if you're not capable of capturing my, like, taking my photo, you can't charge me because you're not sure you're going to be able to get anything out of it. That's you. If anything, you should be hoping I don't charge for the time, you know?
Yeah,
like, then that's when it comes to their galleries. And it's like, I would gladly pay someone's rate if I was like, oh my God, these images are going to be like crazy good. Like, I understand skill level, and especially since technically, I'm new to this Instagram industry. I understand I have to build myself up, and you have to do some trade for work, and you have to pay sometimes when you're, reaching outside your level a bit. But these people, I never overreach, just
Right.
out of respect. I will pay rates when it's deserved. But these people, I don't know that they're going to shoot me because their gallery is not, like, I don't see an image where I'm like, this is going to be flattering for me. And again, a lot of the time it's talking about getting nude. And the other day I found there was photographers are just selling nude images that are trade for work. Like, I'm terrified of the industry right now.
Wow, really? Really, eh?
That was something that just happened. I'm still reeling.
So
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 yeah,
what's the
luckily it wasn't
process?
me,
Like,
but
yeah, no, I mean, so you just like you're on Instagram or you're on the meetups and you're just talking with these people, and then 5 minutes
yeah, so
later
I
they're talking
mean,
about like,
it feels like 5 minutes later. So
yeah, it's so
the way
bizarre.
I go about it, that's, I think, a better way to go about it is definitely get on Instagram, because you can't really avoid social media at this point in time. Get
Yeah,
on Model Mayhem, because honestly that's where you can find people who are not doing it for clout chasing kind of
right.
thing. They're actually posting casting calls with the intention of something. I mean, there's still going to be bad people everywhere, but it's a little bit more legit. But you really have to take a look at people's full galleries, not just the last 6 images, not just
Mhm.
what's the current grid. You have to really take a look, see what they're tagged in, see what kind of people they work with, and what kind of quality images they're going to be putting out.
Yep.
And then you can get a sense of what to, if you really actually, what you can work with them for
Yeah.
if you can work together towards something. Because I think at this point, we're not models. I feel like models are preyed upon as like retail photography. A lot of photographers are like, well, pay me to take your photo. And it's like, I get where you're coming from, because you are doing a lot of work at the shoot and after the shoot. But we do especially if we do our hair and our makeup and bring wardrobe and our posing and stuff, like, it's a collaborative process 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
It should be treated as such. And
Mhm.
so you should benefit as a photographer just as much as I should benefit as a model. And
Yeah.
there's definitely always a power imbalance. I find photographers want what they want. They don't care what the models want. Meetups want what the models want, do not care what photographers want. Like, there's just a struggle.
Mm.
It's like navigating a minefield for people getting into the industry. It
Yeah,
feels really
I
hard.
I just think that it all comes down to contracts, right? Like I was saying a few minutes
Absolutely.
ago, whether it's a TFP or whether it's a shoot, a contract is very important, because if I come to you and I said, let's do a collaboration, one of the first things I'm looking at is what type of collaboration are we doing?
Yeah.
What sort of contrast are we putting in place? What do you get out of the shoot? What do I get out of the shoot? What am I allowed to do with the
Yes.
photos? What are you allowed to do with the photos? And so most of the time, the well, depends on every photographer's contract on how they put what they have in there and what the photos are for. But there are
Hmm.
certain rules and stuff that I think that most of the time beginning models don't understand, and so they just are happy at the opportunity to start shooting, that they just go
Yeah.
to shoot without understanding the implications of the shoot. First things first,
Yeah.
when you go to a photographer, there is two things. Yes, there is a TFP where I, the photographer, I have come to you and I've said, I have this concept I want to shoot. Or you, the model, you come to me and it says you have this concept you want to shoot. Then we sit down, we agree that, okay, this is going to be a time for print kind of shoot. This is what you can get out of
Hmm.
it. This is what I can get out of it. That's a collaboration. But when a model
Yeah.
approaches a photographer and she's looking for portfolio shots or stuff to build her portfolio, definitely that photographer is going to charge, right? Because at that point,
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
a concept that the model is bringing in. The other thing that I was saying most models don't get at the beginning is that it's your image in the photo, but the photographer at the end of the day owns the intellectual right to that photo, right? And that's by law.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
find that
where you
nobody
got
understands that.
exactly. No, most people don't understand it when they start modeling, and so they tend to panic when they see their photos on sites like StockWire or something or Shutterstock for sale. They will say, "Oh, but I didn't
Mhm.
agree for it to be on sale." But you did by just by going to the studio for the person to shoot you, because now it becomes that person's intellectual property, right? So contracts is very important. You got to understand
Exactly.
what you're getting into right there.
Very.
Contracts, absolutely,
Yeah,
man.
absolutely. Yeah, no, for
Absolutely.
sure. I think that's one of the biggest things new models need to understand is model releases, contracts, and just the legalities of ownership, of what you can do with image. No, so many models that are saying their images on the fan sites with like they have don't even have permission. The fact they don't legally own it, it's wild to me, and it's so disrespectful to the photographers.
Yeah,
Like it's a lot.
yeah, absolutely.
So no, I
Because
definitely
when
understand. I think
even with
contracts are so
wedding
important.
photos sometimes, right? Even though at a wedding someone is paying me to photograph their weddings, if it's not stated in the contract specifically who owns the rights to that image, by default the photographer owns that image. And so after the wedding, even after he's delivered to that client,
Yeah.
he is still free to do whatever he wants with it, right? So it's very important
Yeah.
that before I like to do that, and the contract doesn't have to be just written, right? The text messages, the exchanges you put on, let's say if you contact a photographer by Instagram, the conversations, what do you agree to, what the
Yeah.
photographer agrees to, all
Mhm.
that becomes a contract. So it
Mm.
doesn't necessarily have to be
Like a
written
law,
down,
like a
like
legal, like
the
10-page
legal
documents. Yeah.
10-page document. The conversation, right? When I have conversations
Yeah.
with models on Instagram, I make sure I state what I want from the shoot.
Okay.
You agree to it, I agree to it. So after the shoot, you can. I've had one of those happen recently where I had a model shoot. The model comes back to me after 3 months, asks me, "Can you take down the photo?" And I said no.
Ooh,
Right?
heavens.
Um, and sometimes I will, but this particular model had an attitude problem, right? So if you come to me with an attitude problem, demanding like I have to do it, right? I won't, because you agreed for that shoot, that whole concept. You understood what we were shooting
Mhm.
before the shoot, right? And you agreed to it. So that's one of the things that
Yeah.
I think both as photographers and as models, we need to try to understand or communicate more whenever we are shooting with models, because it's very important. It avoids all the confusions and stuff like that later on down the process.
Yeah, that's a good point with just like saving your text messages.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Like, where do you like? Do you have a place that you go, Kate, for contracts, or you just save like text messages?
Well, I'm a big fan of screenshotting my text messages, as most people
Yeah,
will
or
know.
just yeah,
So I
yeah,
have all
it's
verbal
easier.
contracts, so to speak. I have recently realized that myself, I should have my own contract. So I have no idea how to go about that. I have a really, really knowledgeable friend who I'm grateful to have, because if I didn't have her,
Yeah,
I would probably be in a lot of trouble. So I'll probably be bugging her to help me out with that. She usually does. But yeah, like it's so important, and that's definitely something models should know. And like don't rush into things. You can take your time. A good project isn't happening tomorrow. Like you're not planning
no,
it 12 hours later, and if you are, I don't think it's a good project.
yeah.
So
And they might have,
all
and they'll
good
have a bad
things should take
experience,
time
and
and
then
really clear communication.
right. And you're talking about like model mayhem. Is that
Exactly. Like
account
you
on
should
Instagram?
just Oh, so Model Mayhem is actually a website. Like
Okay,
modelmayhem.com, I think is the website. And you can
okay,
sign up as a model, photographer, basically any kind of industry person. And
okay.
there's casting calls there, and you can find other people to work with. And it's kind of like its own little Facebook for the
Right.
industry, but lame.
Yeah,
Okay. Modern.
I kind
So
of find it very hard to use sometimes. I have an account there, but I've never really booked anything through that for some reason.
And is that
it's
Yeah,
not
global? Is that
user
global?
friendly. I'm not
it's
a
not
big
user
fan of the
friendly at
website.
all. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It's
global.
global.
Yeah, you can find
Interesting.
work across the world.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I
Hmm.
think it'd be good if you were traveling because I know there's travel notices and stuff like that.
Right.
I definitely was able to build most of my portfolio when I was like entering Instagram world, and I was like, okay, I better have something to show Instagram. I booked all
Yeah.
my stuff through Model Mayhem at first. It was just so easy to find people wanting to collaborate on portfolio building there. Whereas I
Right.
find Instagram, everyone's trying to sell me something. Everyone's like, well, here's my package. Do you want 20 minutes for
Right.
$120? And I'm like, 20, what am I doing in 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Like,
Wild.
okay.
Wild.
So,
So is that? Yeah,
it's,
that's
I
wild. I
find
mean,
it's way better for professional,
hmm.
but Instagram is its own beast.
Yeah. So for people that are wanting to get into the business, is that your advice? Is to stay away from Instagram and just be careful about what you're walking into? Like, don't rush into it.
You can be on Instagram, just don't be fooled by the follower
Mm.
numbers and the accounts look big. Oh, like, just
Yeah.
is what people want to see, and don't trust everything super just 100%. I'm
Yeah. Do some research, I guess.
sorry,
Eh?
but if you need to try to stay more professional, yeah, definitely always do research as much as you can. Education is the biggest thing you can do. But
Yeah.
Model Mayhem is a really great place to start and build something and have it be
Right.
about magazine publishes or how many likes can this photo get or whatever, and
Mhm.
and it has nothing to do with the social media aspect. So
So
at
it's
least
more for
that's
My
what I
question
find.
would be
Maybe other people
if
have
you were
different.
to my question would be if you were starting out today, right? Or say let's say you have somebody starting out today,
Yeah.
and they are going up on Instagram. What would you be your top advice for that person to look out for? Because I know some models will not even um, want to talk to a photographer if they see he has 100 followers, right?
Mhm.
They want to see photographers who have the big
That's me,
followers.
man.
That's where they want to go. So, what would be your advice to somebody who is starting out today, and let's say they want to go on
um
Instagram and find someone?
like I said, follower counts mean nothing to me personally because I've seen accounts that have 30,000 followers and barely get 100 likes. There's no
Yeah.
engagement there. Like, following count means nothing to
Yeah.
me. And someone having a new account, people's accounts are getting taken down and hacked like every day. So someone having an account isn't even like that suspicious.
Mhm.
But just that's why I'm like, look at the photo they have uploaded and anything they might have been tagged in, and you can get an idea of, is are they new, or is this a new account, new brand? I know rebrand them every like 3 months, same
Yeah.
person, of of what they're about, kind of thing. I
Right.
I feel like just really dig into the profile and make sure it's a real person and
Yeah.
something, and then just it's like online dating, kind of, don't jump into anything, get to know them.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. It makes perfect sense. Um.
Just, yeah, yeah.
So like once you're like at the shoot, like what kind of shoots do you like to do? Like what kinds of shoots that you prefer doing?
I love to incorporate pinup into anything I can do. So I end up doing a lot of boudoir stuff, which is pretty fun. I
Yeah.
grew up on very classic. Um, my grandfather didn't hide his Playboys as well as he should have.
Okay.
So I grew up on the very classic kind of Marilyn Monroe stuff. And I was always super inspired by that. And I like to work cosplay into that kind of stuff. So like it'll be
Yeah.
a Princess Peach boudoir or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
So, but I do fashion and stuff. It's just, I showcase the boudoir stuff way more. It sells more at the end of the day.
So,
Like, you know, it
right.
draws in more attention than the other stuff. So, but I do a little
Yeah,
everything. I'm trying to get more into cosplay now because it's way more
I was
fun.
I was at Comic-Con last weekend, and it was bananas.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I
like,
bet. I was too
it was
intimidated.
bananas.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah, you meet like that's a
Yeah,
good place to
I'm in the
network.
summer.
That's
I'm
a good
hoping in
place to
the
network.
summer. Definitely, for sure, because there's people just there to you know, get photos, and there's all the cosplayers, and no, it's a
Yeah,
great community to get involved in. They're all very supportive. At least
yeah.
the people I have met are all so very supportive, and I'm
They're
grateful to
so
be getting into the
they're so
community with the
supportive.
people I am.
They're so supportive and
I
passionate, you
I
know?
I try. I am definitely very passionate, and I think maybe that gets the best of me at times, and I can come off a little strong to people, and make some enemies. But at the end of the day,
Yeah,
I
not a bad
believe
thing.
everyone should be protected, you know, and live in their best life. And there's no need to step on each other, you know.
No, no, I think that's perfectly reasonable. Perfectly reasonable, and
Yeah.
it's not bad to be passionate. I think there should be more passion in the world, you know, and like stand up for like what you believe in, kind of thing, you know.
For sure. No, exactly. You know, like I've seen a lot of people who are passionate, but then they're afraid of the confrontation, so they end up backing down. And it's like, no,
Yeah,
stand your ground and do not
yeah,
let people push you into something you're not comfortable in. You are
yeah,
worth it. And there's so many new models I've spoken to who I'm just like, you are worth it. You're here, you're going to provide something for the industry. You're new, but everybody's new. Everyone starts somewhere, but
yeah.
you are worth it. Don't devalue yourself because you're new.
Yes, 100%.
So there's a
There's a
question.
question from Katie, who I think is in Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. Any general advice about what you think the best way for a new photographer to approach a model would be? Boom, good one. Thanks for the question.
So if you're new, you know, and build folio as well, you do idea shoot content that you want to bring this model into, and approach them from that like standpoint. I'm much more receptive to people who are like, I have this idea, you'd be perfect for it. What do you think?
Yeah,
Immediately I'm like, tell me this idea, tell me more. You know, and it's just like, hey, love to work together sometime. It's like, that's when you're going to be like, here's my rates, you know, sure. But like, if you got a really rad idea for art, and I mean, I'm talking myself personally because this is why I'm here. I do it for the art, I do it for myself. um,
yeah,
you know, like if other people might always, you know, I know models that always charge the rate no matter what the photo shoot is. Their prerogative. You know, but if you come to me with a really rad idea, like I'm in. Like, have a concept. Don't just come to someone and be like, be nice to work together. It's like, okay, when, what, on what? Like, I get so many of those messages where I'm just like, like there's
right.
no response to
And then
that really, you
crickets.
know.
And then it's crickets after, yeah. Like, okay,
Right,
and
and then they never talk to you again, and it's like, okay. Or they,
yeah,
worse is they unfollow you, and it's like, oh,
that's
was
how
I
it
supposed to
goes.
shoot with you right now? Like, so
Yeah,
it's, you know, just, and it's
have
okay
a
to be
plan.
new, like I said. And if you're just like, I'm literally starting out, I need to build my portfolio, but like, I just really want to work with you, like, it's totally cool. And even sometimes you could be like, you know, what are your rates? For the most part, models will give you like something really reasonable if you ask their rates. If you make us push it on you, oh, we're gonna
Yeah,
give you the highest rates we can, because, well, you're making us feel like crap. Sorry.
yeah.
You know,
No,
like,
it's. I mean,
I find models like, and I'm not speaking from everyone, because I've seen models who legit do not bring anything to the table. They just show up and are like, all right, shoot me. And it's like, okay. But like models who do their makeup, their hair, bring wardrobe, travel, all this stuff, like we're providing a service,
Yeah.
So don't be that person.
Yeah, like
It's
have a
having a
So
plan.
concept is
that's
very
for me.
important, right? Like I always say,
Yeah.
like if you have no idea what you want to shoot, then don't bother contacting a model because yeah,
Like have a
because I
plan.
mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, have a
have a
plan.
plan, have a plan. Like,
Have a plan.
um,
Yeah.
I know you are beginners are there and you're starting, but you can just because you're a beginner does not mean that you shouldn't have a vision of what you want to achieve from a shoot. The key concept of
For
getting
sure.
something
For
from the
sure.
shoot is having a vision and having a concept in place. So when you are contact a model, have that vision, have that thought of what I want to get out of this image, and maybe even send her some examples of what you want to shoot if you can find some on Instagram, right? And I think that will give the model a better. There's a better chance the model will respond to you because you have laid down exactly what you want and what you need.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It can be that
absolutely.
simple. It can be that simple. Just have a plan.
It really is.
And don't be a jerk.
And I think same for models, when we're reaching out to photographers, if we have more of a concept in mind, it's going to get more feedback from just
Right.
hey, I'd love to work with you. At least I've definitely I've experienced that myself. So
Yeah.
I think
And
people
and then
just
the only
want to
thing I'll
know that
add
you're
is that
really invested.
yeah. The only thing I'll add is that as a photographer, when you contact a model for a shoot as well, be open-minded, right? Because I know some photographers that have this idea that I'm planning the shoot, it's my concept and that's it. Be open-minded, let the model also suggest certain things or certain ideas that she also wants to get, right?
Mhm.
So when I have a shoot with
Yeah.
models, one of the things I do is I send my vision. Then I ask them, "Is there any other stuff that you would like to shoot while we are doing this shoot?" All right.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah.
have my vision. Maybe she needs something as well. So at the end of the day, both of us get what we want out of that shoot, especially if it's not a paid shoot and
Exactly.
it's a TFP.
Exactly.
So,
Then it's an actual collaborative, and both parties are gaining something from it. Because I was going to
mhm.
say, you can totally have a model come out, I want this, this, and this, but then please pay me.
Yeah.
I'll do it. But then it's clearly your vision, right? And same with
Yeah.
models, if you have a clear vision, you're like, and I want it shot like this and this, this, and this. You better be paying your photographer, because you're doing a lot. Like you clearly have a very specific vision. You're not taking any collaboration there.
So here's a question, Kate. What concepts are you looking for in 2022?
I'm working on a lot of cosplays, so there's
All
a
right.
lot of cosplay concepts coming up. I'm really, really excited about some. I'm gonna keep them secret, because
Okay.
that
All
way,
right.
if I don't end up finishing them, I don't feel bad, because I might have started too many. But I
Yeah.
definitely have a
Right.
couple of shoots planned coming up, that I'm with a bunch of other cosplayers, so that's going to be fun.
Awesome.
Um,
Awesome.
and it's going to be a chance for me to attempt my costume building abilities, really. I'm pretty good at putting clothes together at this point, but to really build a character,
That's
and
dope.
from scratch, is really intimidating, but like really exciting. Um,
That's pretty dope to
and
build your own
yeah,
costume.
yeah. So there's there's going to be a lot of cosplay in the year of 2022 for me. Um,
Okay.
I think
Awesome.
that's going to be what this year is about. So
Excellent. It's
I
going to be
think
in the
that's
studio, or going to be outside in the city somewhere?
all over the place. All over the place.
Nice.
There's two shoots that will be outside at locations, specific to the concepts. Um, and some will be in studio because, well, it's still cold out. Um, and it's just nice. I'd like to be able to control all the elements. I'm not a big
All the
fan of
elements.
outdoor shoots. I'm not a natural lighting person.
So you
I like the flash.
prefer studio. You prefer studio.
I prefer
stuff.
studio. I do.
Cool. And what's your favorite studio in the city?
In Toronto, I mean, it seems pretty generic to say, but I really love Neon Demon. Like that studio is something spectacular.
It's a crazy. So, I've been wanting to go there for years.
I have been lucky to be there twice. So that's been great. And I still haven't shot nearly enough that I could. There's so much potential there. It's a really neat studio.
I need to go check it out.
Yeah, for sure. Because they're always constantly saying they're going to close, so you better get in there before they actually do.
I think that's their sales pitch, is that they're just going to close.
I don't want to be that person, but I've been twice now because they were going to close twice now. Like,
I think it's a great.
I think they've said that like since the last 3 or 4 years. Every day they're closing.
They've been closing for 4 years, buddy. Like, what's going on?
Well, it's working. It's generating
it's wild.
Shoots and
we have a question. Aries. Well, if you watch the first 15 minutes of this show, you'll get the thoughts on model meetups.
Yeah, we can definitely dive a little bit more into that because it's a layered cake of sorts.
Go for it.
It's definitely something new models need to be wary of. Because it's so easy to get sucked into these things thinking they're going to be helpful. I myself got sucked in numerous times. I'm not a smart person. I keep taking chances on people and it's not worth it. But I don't even know, like, it's just such a beast, this meetup culture. It's like, I called it earlier, the multi-level marketing of modeling, because at this point it's like people taking advantage of people that don't know better, and not in a bad, like, it's not bad that you don't know better or that you're really trusting and you believe these people are going to help you. It's just they have something to gain from you and you don't really get a lot from them. They say that they're networking events, but 9 times out of 10, it's the same models, the same photographers going to every single event. I'm totally on renting a studio as a collaboration, like, everyone paying in for a studio, but all of these places have incredible markups to the point where you can go and take a look at how much the studio costs, and you're basically renting it for 2 hours yourself. And you're like, and then it's paparazzi shooting because the photographers don't know what they're doing or don't care what they're doing. The quality doesn't. Nobody cares. They can be very dangerous. I've been to... I was going to say, I don't think there's a meetup I've been to other than something I've thrown myself where there hasn't been so much rampant drinking on set that it's concerning. There shouldn't be alcohol on set at all, but these people are getting drunk and partying. These are basically, so meetups are basically parties that also want to get photography content shot. And it's weird because I definitely remember being in my early 20s and like drinking and taking selfies and being like, look at these photo shoots, we're so cute. But like, these girls are actually like, this is how I'm going to build my career. And there's so many models that literally all their career is shooting meetup content. Like, if you don't shoot outside of a meetup, if you don't shoot one-on-one with photographers, and I don't even care if you don't get paid, but if you don't shoot outside meetups, what are you doing? Like, you're not going to be getting quality content from them. Yeah, 9 times out of 10, it's, again, paparazzi shots. You get 5 photographers, 5 of the same sets, 5 of you looking off this direction because you're shooting with someone else. Like, it's crazy to me that these people exist and sell this as an accomplishment. And the guaranteed publishes, because now you can basically buy your way into magazines, these print for publication magazines that don't mean anything at the end of the day, sorry to say. Um, you know, if they're not getting ad revenue, if they're not being printed, the publication, there's no point. And also, I find it weird that we all send our photos to be printed for free so people can buy them and we don't get any money from it. Like, it's just a weird, like, what is the achievement here? You know?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
guys with
So
cameras. I've definitely experienced nothing but guys with cameras.
Gotcha. Yeah. So what I'll say is this. It depends. But well, so you've answered from a photographer, from a model's perspective. I just want to give my perspective from a photographer's perspective. Now, if
Yes,
you're a
please.
photographer, and you're just starting out,
Yeah.
meetups can be useful to you, right? But you gotta be
Yes.
careful on which ones and how you select the meetups that you go to. But there is
Yes.
also an advice that I'll give people, and I've said it on this show so many times. If you go to a meetup, as a photographer, you go to a meetup, and your expectation is to go home with portfolio shots, well, you're there for the wrong reason, right? I always say
Yeah,
this:
for
meetups are
sure.
not meant for portfolio shots. Meetups are
Yeah.
meant for networking. Go there, network, see what other models you want to work with in the future, see what other photographers are shooting, how they are shooting, um, especially if you're a beginner, right? Personally, I go to meetups, um, just network, see people, but also at the same time, sometimes myself in the place where I'm in a creative rut and I can't put out anything. It's like I don't even have the energy to camera, right? And so when there is a
Yeah.
meetup and I step out there, it's like it pushes me to pick up my camera and go shoot something. Right. So at that particular point in time, maybe that's what I need to get me out of that spot or that mode of not creating and just pick up my camera and start shooting something. And sometimes these meetups will also gives you concept ideas that you can try out on your own.
Yeah.
If you're looking
Yeah.
for portfolio shots, your best bet is rent out a studio yourself, find a model to shoot a concept with. You'll get better shots that
Yeah.
way. But use meetups for what they are meant for, right? Don't go there
Networking
expecting
practice
to get networking and
and
maybe
practicing.
and practicing, and not
Yeah.
Practice.
for portfolio shots.
Yeah, absolutely. And like that's actually what got me to be going to meetups initially is because they had these themes and had sets, and some places are renting studios and providing you like your concepts basically. Um so and I know there are some meetups that provide hair and makeup and wardrobe and stuff. So it's like it really is, those are the ones that can provide you with something when you're just starting out, that you can't necessarily just, you can do on your own, but it's so much easier when someone else does it for you, right? Especially when you don't necessarily know all of the tips and tricks and stuff. It's these places that won't like that they control how you're shooting and what you're shooting, and there's a meetup group that will force you to shoot nude for free and
That is
sell
just
it as a good thing and then sell your content also. But you know,
crazy. Absolutely
it's
crazy.
yeah, like
Nuts.
there's all
Yeah.
kinds of meetups, like there is all kinds
There's
of
a lot.
people,
There's a
right?
lot of different kinds of meetups. I remember a while back, I attended a couple meetups that I never went back to. And that's not because the meetup wasn't good. The meetups were good. But for me, meetups is not a place where I want to get my portfolio shots. That's me. I like meetups to be places
Yeah.
where I'm learning something. And so those of you who attended our lighting meetups, you will
Mm-hmm.
realize that when they get there, I'm not giving you light settings. I'm not giving you how the model should pose. I'm just teaching you how to position your lights, how to use and get the most out of it. So when I first started, I attended a few meetups, and what I realized was that you go there, the model is there, the person has already set up the light how they want it, they position the model, and all you do is shoot, shoot, shoot all day. As a photographer, it's not beneficial to you because you will get the shots, but how do you know how he set up the lights to end up with
Yeah.
that particular shot that he gets. He's not taught you anything. He's only giving
Yeah.
you the opportunity to shoot a photo without really teaching you how
Yeah, how
he
to do it.
positioned the lights or why he positioned the lights in that way. Right? Those kind of meetup for me, they're not beneficial.
Yeah.
I'd rather go to somewhere where I'm either practicing, right, or have the ability to position the lights my way, and learn to create an image, right, not produce a picture,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's two different things, like taking a picture and creating an image. I want to create an image. I don't want to take a photo, right? So if I'm at a meetup and I'm just there
Mm-hmm.
to take photos, it's of no use.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's definitely a wide range, and I'm not saying that there's not a meetup out there that all meetups are bad. It's just most of them are trying to make a quick buck because
Right.
it's actually a lot easier than trying to get a paid shoot.
Yep.
Because people do want to collaborate together, and you can get people there under the guise of collaboration, but then at the end of the day, they're paying to be there. The hosts are usually modeling, so they're also everybody's paid so that the host can model and get content. Nobody is being directed, and like, yeah, like models aren't being taught how to pose or what looks good or what to wear or coached in any way. It's just go forth and get some content, hopefully. And
Right.
yeah, you got to make sure there's a meetup where they care about what the end result's going to be, and they're going to coach you through it. And I know there's got to be them out there. I've seen them start up, but then they go south so quickly.
Yeah.
Like it's too much hard work, and they immediately start cutting corners. So
Yeah, it is.
it's
It is
just, you got to
work.
be
Yeah.
careful. But it is
Yeah.
a good place to network. I find, honestly, I would get just as much benefit out of it getting added to the group chat than actually going to the
Right.
event. Just add
Right.
everyone from the group chat and start chatting to
Right.
them on my own, and I would end up setting up more shoots that way than actually going to the meetup and then having to fight for that time. Like, you got 4 hours with 10 other people. You're fighting
Yeah.
for your time with the photographers, not to mention, again, the photographers and the preferential treatment. I've been to a meetup where no one wanted to shoot me because either it was because I was the biggest girl there, or I was wearing more clothes than they would like. But literally, I was there for hours, like 5 hours, and no one would shoot me. And I paid to be there just like everyone else. And and
Huh.
and another model experienced the same thing. She left really early on because she's a lot smarter than me. I stayed for 5 hours. Like, and a preferential treatment, and the way photographers will edit photos better than other, like, they'll just phone in your photos if they don't like the set, but they'll edit this other model's photos
Mm.
perfectly. And it's like, we all hopefully paid the same amount to be here. It should be equal. It's never equal, but we all paid to be here. What's with the different treatment, you know? Especially at
Yeah. That
meetups
is.
where it's supposed to be
Yeah.
networking.
Yeah. That's really sad to hear. Also, Tony.
It
Tony
is
has an
hard to deal
experience.
with.
Tony has an experience. Crazy, man. Totally insane. Like,
So I definitely have an idea of a handful of meetups that those might have been from.
yeah.
No shade.
Yeah. Like, how do you
But
know? I
yeah,
guess, like, you need to research the meetup group, or you have to talk to people that have been. Like, you have to, like, do some
ye-
reference checking. Like, how do you know, right?
you definitely need to reference check.
Yeah.
Always talk to people who have worked with the photographer you're looking at, or models you're looking at working with, or meetups. Always talk to people who have been, and
Hmm.
get real opinions. Because you can look at their page, but they can doctor their page to only show the good stuff. There's a studio out there that, if you ask me, is not a safe space. It's actually, like, that person that runs it was abusive to me. I would never recommend them. But you look at their page and everyone's happy and it's a safe space and it's great. You have to talk to
Hmm.
people. If you don't get real
Hmm.
life accounts, people can sell you any story they want on here. Social media is
Yeah.
all
Don't
smoke
don't
and
believe,
mirrors. It's
don't believe social media.
exactly.
Yeah.
So is it definitely talk to people. If there's a photographer you want to work with, find a model he works with and be like, what was it like working with this person? And I think photographers should do that as well. I'm delighted when I find out a photographer's vetted me. I'm like, good, like you're serious about working with me.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like doesn't hurt to check, right? Like it just to make sure what you're getting into, kind of thing.
I mean, you don't have to take people's advice, right? Like you can take it into account and it's your prerogative to make your own decision. But if you get a bunch of negative stories about someone, you go in and have a negative experience. I mean, what did you expect?
Yeah. Katie's saying sorry for your experience. Yeah.
Yeah,
Crazy.
I mean, you know what? At the end of the day, like there are days where it really bogs me down and I really feel just not seen and sad that I get stepped over time to time because of maybe my body type, or because I'm not a part of these cliques. But at the end of the day, because I'm doing it for me, like these experiences don't reflect me as a person. They reflect a whole bunch of other issues. Like I'll be okay at the end of the day. I don't want this stuff to continue for other people to deal with. It's not okay. And especially people like I'm 33. So I've had some time to be on the internet in the early days. I've been bullied. I've been curvy my whole life. I'm at a place where I can handle it. But if you're starting out and you're also fairly young, because some of these girls are in their early 20s or barely, like they're just 19, like they'll get, I don't want people to get bullied or exploited or bogged down when it shouldn't have to be like this. I know it's a tough industry. I know it's an industry on appearance, but like it really shouldn't be so negative. I feel like it could be such a beautiful place for creating art. Why are we so hostile?
Yeah, I mean, I always make the point, like on this show, saying you always have to make it for yourself first. Photos, video, paintings, whatever it is, you always have to make it for yourself first, because
enjoy your process.
And you wait
Exactly.
for external validation or whatever it is, it's not going to go well. So
yeah, and I think that's what a lot of the models I've run into are having trouble understanding, is they still want that validation, which I understand. I do.
We all
But
want it. We all want
if you don't validate yourself, if you can't validate yourself and it's just all about clout chasing and getting validation from other people, like you're going to be so stressed out by social media soon that it's not worth it. Like you have to know that we're playing a very ridiculous game. Like it's like a social experiment where we're all trying to race each other on apps.
We're just running on a wheel
you just have
all day.
Exactly, right? It's you can't take it too seriously, and you have to have something outside of
you gotta have fun, right?
Yeah, if you're not having fun in the industry, then you shouldn't be here.
Yeah. Tony's saying, I hear some models will work with a photographer only based on how good he or she edits their photos. Photoshop. Thoughts? Geez, Tony, what a question, man.
I mean, that's a good question, though. I'm not going to lie, because in editing, the way they edit, like I've seen something where I'm like, wow, that's like Vogue level, like Vogue cover level editing. I'd love to work with this person. So like, yeah, I can definitely attest to if someone's really good at not only setting up the photo, but like banging out that final image, that'll sway me for sure personally. So I wouldn't be surprised if other models are like, I definitely know when I get photos back from a photographer that aren't edited at all, and I'm just like, oh, okay, what do I do here?
That's it.
And then because I don't know what I'm doing. Like,
right.
I'll Instagram filter it, sure, but I don't want to do that because that's not their image really anymore. So it's like it's a weird area. Editing, I think, actually, that was an excellent question.
Good question, Tony. What did it be, man?
Personally, I hate that. I hate it when I deliver a photo to a model and she puts an Instagram filter on the image. I probably would never call you back.
I think it's rude. Yeah, no.
I probably would never work with
if you've gone out of your way to edit the photo, you shouldn't have any filter over it. I wouldn't filter an edited photo. Also, I try not to ask for too much Photoshop when I'm getting edited by people. I've maybe twice now been like, can you maybe nip and tuck, maybe take away some lines. But for the most part, I try to be really raw with my images. Like if I have not perfect skin or my makeup doesn't look great or whatever, my body, has roles that other models don't have. I try to keep it really real to who I am. That's why I think it's so weird when photographers are like, I didn't know you were a plus size model. I'm like, I have never hit it. So
Yeah.
I try to keep it really real. Other people maybe are wanting more that plastic skin look, but
no, you gotta keep it real, right? Because it's
yeah,
you, right? Like it's
exactly. I want to be able to look at these photos over time and not be like heaven forbid I get dementia one day and I'm like, who's that? That's not me. That's not my face. I want to be able to recognize myself. I mean, I know I have the tattoos to keep myself being like, oh, okay, good, that is me. But I don't want, and especially I have 2 young daughters. I do not want them growing up to be like, well, mommy distorted herself to look a certain way because of a standard of beauty that is, in my opinion, horribly outdated. I don't even know how it came about to begin with. The 90s was wild, I guess. But I have to remember that I have two sets of young eyes on me, and the way I carry myself, it's not just for me as well. So what I might see as an imperfection, they might look at these photos one day and be like, oh my God, like my mom was like banging, like this is awesome. Like, and especially if I'm telling them to love themselves, I have to love myself. You can't tell someone to do something and not do it back.
Of course.
So
yes. And you gotta be like them. You gotta be like role model for your kids, right? Like,
exactly. And a role model for other people in the industry. I don't want them to come in and be like, okay, well, have to look a certain way. Like that's where I'm at fighting with my body image issue because, well, photographers mainly only want to shoot skinnier models. That doesn't mean I'm not beautiful. It means they all have a very specific thing they're into. I won't say artistically, but they have an image they want to keep. It shouldn't make me feel less of a person. So like, you have to be really strong at the end of the day.
Yeah. And work with people that value you as a person,
Absolutely. Because when you surround yourself with people that actually value you and what you bring to the table, it's so much more rewarding. And I'm really fortunate that I found myself a little friend group of creatives who are so supportive. And we help each other out with all of the stuff we could possibly do. And it's like, you need that team. Everybody should have a team because it's hard to do things on your own. And especially when you're coming up with elaborate concepts, you need support. And it's really hard to do things in this industry. If I didn't have these friends, like I would have quit 10 times over. By this time last year, I would have been done. I've seen so much stuff that has made me feel so bad. And then they pick me up and they remind me like what I bring and what I am in this world, in this industry,
Shout out to Kate's friends. Nice.
Right? They're watching right now, hopefully.
Tony has a question. Another question from Tony. As a model, does it matter to you if photographer photographs you digital or film? Oh, the digital versus film question, Tony.
I have not been shot with film yet, so I actually don't feel like I can speak to this. I don't think I don't have a preference. I would think it'd be neat on film. I also took photography in high school where we still had to develop film. So like for me, it's nostalgic, but I don't have a preference.
Yeah, it's a different look. Sorry, Jessica was saying they're going to see the best of you, be able to highlight that in the photos. Yeah, like work with people that value you. You just it's like it's all about like energy, like positive energy.
For sure.
And you make some really good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. If you're in a good environment, you're having a good time, it comes across in the photos. And that's why, again, a lot of these meetups, you look at these group photos and you're like, is everyone okay?
Right.
It doesn't look like you're having fun. Are you okay?
Yeah.
You
Are you
know,
okay?
so
That's wild. That's wild. We're coming up into the hour, so I don't want to take up too much of your time, Kate. But maybe you want to leave off with just
no
like
worries.
for people that want to get into the industry, maybe just some like positive advice or tips and tricks for people that
Yeah.
want to get in.
So,
Why should
you
someone
know,
go?
um, well, freelance modeling can be really hard, but it can be really rewarding to be in charge of yourself and your own image. So I think as long as you know what you want out of yourself, what your image is, what you value, what your values are, and you keep to
Mhm.
that, do not waver for another person's values. There will be people that don't want to work with you because you won't bend to their way, but there will be people that want to work with you because you stick your grounds. So just have the confidence you're showing the people on social media in those photos where you're like, I'm bad. Have that confidence all the time. Know you're worth it, and don't compromise yourself for other people. Yes, there will be projects you really feel like you want to be involved in. Fear of missing out is real. I do understand that, but don't feel the need to rush into anything, to create something that might not be what you want because you don't want to miss out on something. Everything comes in good time, you know. Um, there can be so many amazing people in this industry who just want to create art, and photo shoots are so much fun. Like when you get to wear something fun or have really pretty makeup or just even feeling sensual doing a boudoir shoot, like you get to feel like your best self. And I think it can be so liberating, especially for women who maybe haven't always felt great about themselves. I've been a bigger person my whole life. I dealt with a lot of bullying, so when I finally felt the confidence in my body to show it off in all of its glory, like, it's really rewarding to be a part of art and to be almost like it's like you're now part of time. You've got a screenshot, like a snapshot of time. The Mona Lisa happened, and we all celebrate her now. Who knows what kind of art you're going to create, and what legacy you're creating for yourself. It's remarkably fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Who knows where it's to go in the future, like NFTs and all that. We didn't even get into NFTs, but maybe
Oh
that
my
could be
God,
saved for
right?
the second show because it's been a really great chat. And thanks so much for your time. We should try to get you
Yeah.
back on sometime,
Thank you.
maybe in the summertime or something if you want.
Yes, for sure. Next time will be a little less days because this was a little overwhelming at first.
It's like the hour went by so fast.
It always does, but
It really did, and like I got like that was crazy. I'd definitely come back anytime.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's been great. For people in the chat, make sure to check out Kate at Kate Rocks After Dark on Instagram. Her links are in the description. Make sure you follow her. If you have questions about modeling and what we spoke about, feel free to message Kate. I'm sure she'll be more than happy to help you out.
Please reach out to me, and I will give you any knowledge I can.
Absolutely. So thanks again, Kate. Really, really great chat. We'll have you back on again. Evans, final thoughts.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Kate. It's been great talking to you. Hope our audience learned a lot today.
Hopefully.
Pleasure having you.
Yeah, no, it's been good. It's been very candid, which I like.
Awesome.
I like how you didn't
Thank you.
sugarcoat it because that's how you learn.
I
Right?
tend not to, and I know that gets me in trouble, but there's no point to sugarcoating anything. Everybody should just know the truth up front, and then they can make decisions on their life.
Yeah. Well, you've definitely made friends today in this chat, so I'm sure you get some few followers from
Thanks,
this.
guys.
So that's about it.
Awesome.
Thanks again for watching. This will be on Spotify tomorrow, so if you want to share that with your friends, it'll be on tomorrow.
Awesome.
We'll share the links about that.
I definitely will.
It'll be good. And
awesome.
hang on, Kate. Hang on until when we go offline for like 2 minutes in the green room.
Awesome.
And Evan, do you have the outro music?
Yes, we are ready to go. Thank you, guys. Yeah. Good.